Welcome, everyone, to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your host, Kicker, the Chief of Serial and Sigillator of the FLG, and I'm Seth the Mad Dog, your now vocal correspondent. How has everyone been doing, Kicker?
I am doing great. For those of you listening to our podcast, you should consider watching us live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get the cool visual elements, and more importantly, you get to hop into chat and be part of the conversation. Guys, this is a new, fresh start for Frontline Gaming and the Frontline Gaming Network. We're trying new stuff, innovating, new exciting stuff rolling out over the next few weeks. New team members, new partners. It is brand spanking new, but bear with us today and probably next week and maybe the week after that as we test out stuff.
Now, I will say that right now my degree is definitely not in AV production, but I am making it work. The tech priest did his best to get me up to speed on his way out, and hopefully from your end it looks the same. Might not be the same from my end though.
Well, Seth, to kind of give you an idea of my technical aptitude, I despite owning not one, not two, but 3 Ring doorbells in the past few years, I have yet to be able to get a single one of them to work properly, and they're supposed to be idiot-proof. So
all I know is when I was getting things set up tonight, I was like, Kicker, you need to get on Discord on your computer, and he's like, what's Discord?
Yeah, what's Discord? Like, what? No.
Yeah,
no,
so that's the level of IT power that we have here, so... Kicker, what have you been up to? Let's get this show rolling.
Yeah, let's do this. While Seth and I do not have IT power, we are bringing in superheroes. They will be coming in later on this show.
There may be one in the background that you'll hear from later in this episode.
Right. But yes, dude, I just got back from Cherokee. Wow, just wow. Such an epic weekend. Of course, there was the whole, event thing taking place. But before the event, I got to go take advantage of the Smoky Mountains. I got to go hiking and camping, which was amazing. And then right after setup on Thursday, we set up really, really fast, thanks to help from the Hobby Goblins and a few boys from New Orleans. I got to go and play a game against Joe of War Games Live with his Votan, and that was just so much fun. Both of us are good friends.
I keep trying to convince him that he needs to name the army the League of Jotan.
He should have gone with it. But Joe does know how to pilot. He's not only an active streamer every single weekend, but he also knows how to roll some dice. And it was a very close game, probably one of the better games I've had in years. It was just so much fun. Both of us were giggling as our armies tore apart. He took his Votan, I took my guard, and it was violent and brutal, and we had a lot of fun. But Seth, you got to play this weekend, right?
I did. I actually got to play. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But I didn't, because I was, traveling and so on, I didn't really get to paint. So for Hobby Progress, I thought I would show this. This was my Hobby Progress, which was my wife and I's birthday dinner for her at Cherokee. And I got a very lovely steak at Ruth Chris. And that is a steak. And that is... A large steak and a large mac and cheese with lobster. Kicker, bro, we just got a super chat from John McCardle for $200. Congrats on
fish sticks.
Congrats on what looked like a great event this weekend with some awesome following along with WGL all weekend, and looking forward to ACO. Got my tickets and can't wait.
Yeah,
dude,
hey man,
that is.
Say hi to us at ACO.
Yeah. John, we need to give you a big hug after that, and maybe you can have some of my lobster mac and cheese.
And I will share my cereal with you, my friend.
That he does not do that
awesome.
lightly.
Thank you so much, dude. That was one of the fun things about Cherokee, is getting to see so many players. A lot of the guys at Cherokee, that's their one big event for the entire year.
Yeah.
So I don't see them at LVO. I don't see them at Texas. So it was a lot of fun getting to shake so many hands and hang out with everyone. Seth. So you were there. You were eating steak. I was there running the event. Yeah. We also had. Can we bring in? Can we bring in our buddy?
Yeah. This is so I don't have the technology yet to show you our new associate here, but you can hear from Nick Dorich, our new producer and kind of co-chair. Nick, how was your weekend at Cherokee? How have you been doing? Introduce yourself, I guess,
guys.
Technically.
Yeah, well, hello to everyone on the Frontline Gaming Network and everybody checking out the show tonight. Happy to be here, and from my own standpoint, had a great weekend at Cherokee. It was my second time, Kicker. Seth, I've been to both Cherokees. I will be going next year, and for every year in the foreseeable future, as it is set. Great venue, had a great time. The shirt I'm wearing, you guys can't see it right now. I'm wearing my Cherokee shirt. It's fantastic.
I thought you were going to say you're wearing your flannel. That was what I learned about you this weekend.
This guy wore flannel all weekend long, and I loved it.
Yeah.
You got to have a nice uniform, right? You got to be prepared, dress well for your Warhammer events, and having the flannel makes it just so easy. Black jeans, flannel shirt, you're recognizable. I'm already kind of recognizable with the beard, but it makes it so much easier to just show up, roll some dice, play some Warhammer. I had a great time, 6 rounds, had a great time, great opponents for all of them, and I'm very much looking forward to next year. But even maybe looking to see if I can get ACO on my schedule with the okay from the wife. So fingers crossed on that one.
Now, folks may
Nick
know
was referencing
Nick,
his retail shirt. We should talk about his fancy poly blend, event exclusive Cherokee shirt, guys. For those of you that have never been to a Frontline Gaming event, you got to get the shirt. The shirt is not your average shirt. Nick, why don't you take it away? Describe this quality shirt here, man.
Oh, big fan of the polyblend shirt. Cotton does not really work well for me and for a lot of gamers. Much too warm. So I put it. This is literally the softest thing. I don't know if I'm gonna be washing it in the next couple of days because then it loses that feeling, right?
Yeah,
but
right.
We can't get it. We can't get into that. So I'm gonna Kicker if I can get other ones. I may have to put it in order. The one thing I have to say about the shirts though, we need an Adam Camilleri branded style of FLG shirts. Yeah. With no sleeves.
Yeah,
that's the one request that we got to get for the future events there, because we know there's a lot of war gamers that'll love that too.
And no, you're 100% correct, Nick. There's quite a few people asking for sleeveless shirts, most notably Adam Camilleri. But of course, we've got the Catagen himself down in Texas, Brett. He's multiple times asked for a sleeveless shirt. So maybe that's going to be the upgrade option for the future. Is you can pay more and get a shirt without sleeves. I think that sounds like a fair arrangement there. Seth, maybe we should hop into a little bit of GW product news. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, let's do it. I definitely wasn't working in the background to add a picture of Nick for everyone. But
okay, yeah,
but there you go.
There you go. A photo of Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there we go. There you go. There's a photo of Nick.
But we'll pop that up when he talks. Well, look, I tried to make it look like designed. All right, I was working on the fly. All right, jeez, you can do whatever you want when you're producing the show, Nick.
Nick will eventually be our on-the-air producer, and he will have the technical know-how to add full flannel shirts to every single episode if wanted.
Yeah.
Talking about flannel, let's talk about this guy here. He looks like he's wearing flannel. No, it's just red. It's not flannel.
Yeah, I was like, that's not flannel.
I thought it was flannel. I had my flannel lens on, right? So we've got the brand new Space Marine box coming out this weekend. Very polarizing models, specifically in regards to the gun things there on the desolators. I think that's the term. The desolators, right? It's weird. Okay, not weird. They're just, a lot of people don't like them, but there's a few people that absolutely love them. To each their own. Don't shame somebody for taking a model, regardless of what you think. It's still a cool Space Marine with a lot of guns. It's maybe too much gun for my taste. Seth, hot take, quick. What do you think of these guys?
I think painted up like this, particularly, I forget what the name of the launcher, but this is the special launcher that only the sergeant gets. I don't mind it. I like it. It to me, like rules wise, it seems like that big missile should be like a one use only, and then the little rotary one with the belt fed would be used every turn. But I know that's not how it really works. Yeah. But I mean, they're growing on me. They're growing on me. Yep.
Well, so that's only part of the box set, right?
It's
so
true.
We know there's this model in particular, this unit of 10 is a little, some people love it, some people don't like it as much, but everybody is going crazy for the Brutalis or Brutalis or whatever you want to call it, the new close combat dreadnought. This guy's got basically power claws for
He's
fist.
He's got giant power lightning fist claws.
Lightning fist claws, a couple of melted weapons are as an option. Big meanie, and everyone loves this model because everyone likes dreadnoughts. Nick, hot take, what do you think of this thing?
I want to see pictures of the Brutalis Dreadnought painted up in Blood Angels and White Scar paint scheme.
Okay, I could have pulled. I had a blood. There was a Blood Raven on the Warhammer community page. It looked really good. There was a Blood Raven, but I went with Sons of Medusa. Because he had the Sons of Medusa had some really great weathering.
Yeah,
I think they're great. They'll look good in the melee focused
Nick,
army schemes.
I've got you. You want a Death Company Brutalis.
Oof.
Seth, you already know me well. Because that will definitely be the one that I'm debuting when I get one and have it painted. It's I'm a Blood Angels fan, so for those checking in on the network, that'll be that. There might be some creep into chaos. So I'm also eager and ready to see some chaos conversions
Yes.
from what folks can do with this thing, right? I want to see that fall from grace, see what happens.
Look at him want to see the fall. I'm going to keep going back to your picture whenever you're talking because I feel like we need some visual representation of you.
So Nick just mentioned that these could make great conversion fodder. Know what makes even better conversion fodder? The next model I want to talk about, the guys, the Sanctioner robot for Necromunda. These are these.
You mean my orc mega knobs?
Yeah. Dude, I'm in love, man. I'm in love. I don't know anything about the rules for Necromunda, but this is just like I could see these being possibly organs or ogres, maybe like something from Mechanicus. I don't know, but I want these minis and I want to do something fun with them. They're basically robots that I don't know. They have a big hand and they have a gun battering ram arm thing going on there. We do know that they'll be in plastic. They'll be set in sets of 2. So plastic means they're easy to convert. Seth, did you see these things yet? Have you orcify these yet?
I think they definitely they speak to the orc in me. I think with maybe a little work, these could be kilocants.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm down with it. I think the Ambull makes a good mega knob.
Yeah,
but these look a little beefier than the Ambull, so I'm thinking kilocants.
Yeah, we'll have to see the model. We don't actually know the base size. We don't know the height of it or anything yet. There's no photo of it next to another model, so we really don't know what it looks like, at least in terms of size.
Kelsey wants to make him into Bulgrin.
Yeah, you think it's Bulgrin?
That's what Kelsey says. And you're a guard. You're a longtime guard player. What do you think?
Yeah, I am a long-term guard player, and if these are appropriately sized for Bulgrin, I'm buying a full squad of Bulgrin. I don't even like Bulgrin as a unit. They're not my play style, right?
Yep.
I like tanks, but I will buy these and make them a little Bulgrin because they're just too damn cool. Thank you, Kelsey. Kelsey does know basically everything there is in the Warhammer universe, so thank you for chiming in there, Kelsey. Last but not least, we have a name I can't even try to pronounce. Griseal's Arena for Underworld. Underworld is, as always, constantly getting models released for it. This is basically a bunch of the female elf warriors. Another option for conversions. I could see these being witches for Drukhari possibly. Yep. I can't. Seth, can you say that name? I can't say that name. I've tried to say it like 30 times.
I can barely say Kicker. Look, I have to use all of my pronunciation skills when we start pronouncing, event winners and rankings and stuff. That's like
save it then. Save it for that. Nick, have you tried Underworlds by any chance? No shame if you haven't. I know Seth and I have not really played Underworlds anytime recently. Have you tried Underworlds at all?
Yeah, I actually played it a handful of games at a tournament in 2018. I have to check my dates on it. It was a nice little game with some of the card building aspects. So you get some miniatures, you get that mixed in. I think a lot of us as gaming nerds, right, mix in card games and miniatures. Yeah. So it was a nice thing, easy for transportation. So I know there's been folks asking about Underworlds and some of the Kill Team and things like that at some of the FLG events. Makes it really easy to pack on an airplane. So definitely a big fan of that. And rather than painting a 2,000-point army, sometimes it's easy just to paint up 5 or 6 models for an Underworld game or something like Blood Bowl as another.
Yeah, and I believe all these miniatures for Underworlds can be played in Age of Sigmar or Warcry. I believe there's cross-pollination here between the game systems. I know Warcry can all be played in Age of Sigmar. I think a lot of Underworld models can also be used. Worst case scenario, though, they're just amazing things for like D&D and whatnot. So, Seth, we should probably talk about some new rules releases. This was as of today, folks. This is like breaking news. The Astra Militarum finally has their FAQ out, and guys, no double plasmas or double meltas, or basically double of any of the same special weapons on both the Cadian or the Deathcore Creek infantry squads. If you don't play Astra Militarum, this probably means nothing to you. But if you are a die-hard Astra Militarum fan like myself, this was a little sad because I like doubling up on plasma guns on my squads. It really made them super efficient.
I get you, Kicker, but I think they missed the big one, which was the Karsakan squads doing 6 mortal wounds per each target, not per activation, so that they could split on that stratagem and do 6 mortal wounds to multiple units at a time. That's, I think, the big one that they kind of missed. But I think the plasma nerf was all right. I mean, it's not gonna.
It goes in line with what's the model, the pieces in the kit, right? There's only one plasma gun, one melta gun in each.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but you're talking about the Karskin bomb, which is the big bad guy that everyone's been talking about, since the Guard Codex has dropped. With that not having been nerfed, look where the guard are. The guard are good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not destroying. I mean, they didn't win Cherokee, right? I think they made the top four.
They
top
made top
Cherokee,
four.
But
they made top four.
Top four. Yeah,
they made top four. Then they hit Bradchester.
Destroying the meta right now. So maybe we could keep that Karskin bomb. Maybe, hopefully, kind of. I'd like to, please, kind of. I don't know.
Kicker just wants to have his broke rules, guys. Let him have them.
Let me have some broken rules, guys. If you were in chat, tell us. Was the FAQ enough or was it not enough? Tell us your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. Seth, do you want to maybe describe the jank? I'm going to tell you what happened about the jank of the week, and maybe you can kind of explain it. The jank of the week, guys, is that really cool rules thing that we found that's maybe a little overpowered, a little sneaky.
Kicker got to learn about it firsthand this time.
I learned about it firsthand to my face. I was playing Joe on Thursday. He was running Votan. I was running my guard up front, trying to charge toward him. And he somehow was stringing his Votan infantry. I think they're called warriors. And he's basically keeping one on the objective, but the rest behind line of sight blocking with a medic back there. And it was really tough to shift. Seth, can you describe what was going on here?
So what ends up happening is if you kill the one guy on the objective, there's a command phase strat for Votan where they can heal if they have the medic in the unit. They can revive some guys, so he revives them back onto the objective. So if you don't shoot him with something big enough to wipe 10 dudes at once,
and he was running a squad of 17 dudes, right?
Like one activation. Then what ends up happening is you kill a few of them. He pulls the one guy you can see, a few other guys. You can't shoot him anymore, and then in his command phase he regrows back onto the objective, which is a thing that a lot of armies like Necrons have been doing before, where they have a revive mechanic that they can use in the command phase. Other armies like Space Marines, their revive mechanic is in the end of the movement phase, so they couldn't do that trick. So it's if you have a revive mechanic in the command phase, you could do that trick, which is what the Leagues of Jotan were doing.
Leagues of Jotan. Well, and Joe warned me, right? Joe's a great opponent. He was very transparent. He's like, I'm going to do this thing. You're going to hate me doing it, but just deal with it. And you know what? I dealt with it by not really engaging. I kind of okay. I realized I'm not going to be able to shift that objective. I'm just going to let them own it and focus my attention elsewhere. But it was cool of Joe to kind of make it very clear what was going on. Let's talk a little bit about a bit of terrain that you might have seen at Cherokee. Did you see this terrain, Seth?
They might have seen it somewhere else too, because this picture is not from Cherokee.
Oh, yeah, I think we released it at LVO. Nick, maybe you've seen this. I'm sure you played on this terrain at Cherokee. This is the brand new Sisters terrain set. Did you see it, Nick, at all by any chance?
Oh yeah, well I was, I got to see it up close and personal at LVO on the stream table. Henry Cavill saw it on the stream table, so it was great there. I really like it. It's definitely a different set than some of the other ones that you're going to see. It's a lot of coverage that's there, so I know a lot of folks they want to hide from that Iron Hands gun line right now, and let me tell you, this terrain you're going to hide.
As an Orc player, I love this terrain.
You love this terrain.
As a Votan player, I would hate this terrain.
Seth, well, guys, this terrain as well as our Chaos terrain are going to be part of our primary core sets that go to every single one of the Frontline Gaming events for the rest of the year. That there will always be a lot of Sisters and Chaos terrain sets. Those will make up the majority of terrain at our traveling circus that is the FLG events.
I really wanted to do.
Yeah, right. This terrain, though, will be up. We were bombarded in the past week after Cherokee. This terrain will be up for sale in mid-March. So in the next week to about 2 to 3 weeks, you should be able to get it for your own home playing place.
If you want to pick up this terrain or any of the tickets for the upcoming events, please use our little affiliate link, where there's a link in the description of the show. And the easy one to remember, I made a tiny URL, so it's tinyurl.com/FLG signals. And that takes you to the site with and lets them know that you came through us, and that's important for the growth of our network, which you'll hear about in a bit. Really would appreciate that, guys. With tickets going live for ACO, we went live last Saturday for ACO, and new terrain. Hey, Kicker, by the way,
buy this.
I want to go to ACO.
You want to go to ACO? You got to go to ACO.
I think I'm gonna go.
Well, okay. Let's talk about events. Let's do it. We got RMO. So the Rocky Mountain Open is next week, guys.
Bam.
I'm heading there in a few short days. I mean, I just got home to see my family. Cherokee, and I'm turning back out to go out west to Colorado. This event is basically totally sold out. I think we just added 1 or 2 more tickets yesterday.
I think you said you were adding them to the shed.
Yeah, we were
garage?
adding some. Yeah, so I mean, I don't. It's a garage. It's not a shed. It's attached. It's a properly attached to the gaming hall.
Okay,
So we were
all
able
right.
to move.
It's a contiguous building. All right.
It's a continuous building, but yeah, we were able to add a few more tickets by relocating some things to the garage. That would be, I think, the Legion players.
Wow. Sorry, Legion.
Yeah, sorry, Legion. No, it's good. Legion will like it. It's like so they can have their own little area and stuff.
Yeah.
But yes,
It's like Hoth. It'll be like Hoth, guys. It'll be okay.
Jeez. No, and really important about the Rocky Mountain Open. Tokens for this event are going out tonight. So this is Wednesday night.
Yep.
Tokens, you should be getting them by the time you go to sleep or tomorrow morning. You are using a brand new automated system through BCP, but you should be getting your tokens. If you do not have your tokens by Thursday afternoon, shoot me an email at events@frontlinegaming.org and we will manually add you to the roster.
Speaking of shooting things, Joel Adkins just fired a shot that Shatterpoint will kill Legion.
Oh wow, that's definitely.
I've heard a lot of good things about Shatterpoint, but them Legion boys ain't going anywhere without a fight.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Shatterpoint is AMG, which makes Legion as well as X-Wing and Armada.
Yeah.
It's kind of their MCP equivalent, but in this Star Wars universe. MCP being Marvel Crisis Protocol, super successful game since launch. A skirmish, mindset, but now using Star Wars, Jedis and bounty hunters, which is pretty badass. We should ask Nick. Nick, have you played any Star Wars Legion or AMG games?
No, at this point, I've only got the time and attention for 40K. Am I tempted by it? Yes, absolutely. Yep. And we're recording this on Wednesday, March 1st, and obviously the Mandalorian season 3 debuted today.
Yeah.
So my love of Star Wars is at especially high point right now. My wife was a little upset that I was doing this recording with you guys tonight because it meant we couldn't watch Mandalorian, and she loves it just as much as I do. So am I interested in Star Wars, and will I play it? Signs are pointing to yes, but I still have too much love for 40K.
Oh my gosh! Good tangent onto Mandalorian though. I forgot that is live tonight, guys. Mandalorian. All
right, so we got to pick it up so Kicker can get to the Mandalorian. I guess.
Yeah, no. Now I want to go see Mandalorian. Like I'm a huge Star Wars geek. I love 40K. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like I was born and raised with Star Wars. All right, guys. ACO tickets are live already. Blood Bowl. We've got Kings of War, and of course all the usual suspects. 40K, Age of Sigmar. Those tickets are live. We're going to be doing a few giveaways for the next few weeks. So if you've already got a ticket, you're still entered into those giveaways, but just stay tuned. ACO, I got the update from Reese earlier today. ACO is already gotten very large and the tickets have only been live for a few days. So we're looking to see
Grab
ACO be probably
can.
the largest. Yeah, we're thinking ACO is going to be as large, our largest non-LVO event. So the largest event after LVO for 2023. So woohoo!
Woo!
Yeah.
Actually, I had an old friend reach out to me about going up there, so I might see some friends I hadn't seen for a few years, which would be really cool.
Sweet. Well, we'd love to have you and Nick there, of course. Seth, hey, what's happening on the FLGN?
Oh, I got to go back to talking and not producing. Got it. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So here, let me finish producing.
Are you multitasking?
I am. Yeah, I'm doing several things at once. Okay, there we go. All right, so kind of upcoming things for the FLGN. Kicker kind of talked about it before, but we're kicking off the next phase of the network. And that really includes us bringing in a lot of other talent to this network. I've been working hard, reaching far and wide to touch base with a lot of really talented content creators. So you're going to start to see a lot of new folks on the network. They might not necessarily be on this channel because we are trying to spread folks out to their own individual channels. That way they can keep, their own, if they already had a YouTube monetization, we're not trying to split that all amongst ourselves. That also helps you, the viewer, because if you're interested in only 2 or 3 of the shows on the network and you don't want to get notifications every single time a show goes live, you just subscribe to the ones you're interested in.
Exactly.
We're going to have a nice landing page where all of their information is going to be in one spot, so you can find it in one spot, but then you can kind of branch out and, pick and choose and make a little a la carte menu of what you want
That's the perfect way to describe it.
From your network.
Because that is really important, right, guys?
Yep.
Signals will probably be the only show on the Frontline Gaming channel. Mm-hmm. Everyone else will still be an independently run and operated.
Like Grimm's on their own channel now. So if you want to watch Grimm, you got to go subscribe to Grimm, and you'll get notifications when they go live. So
But the benefits, you will see the benefits in the next few weeks, and it's going to be great for the hardworking talent. It's going to be great for the audience. Just a lot of good, exciting stuff. And we're also bringing in some big name sponsors, so you will see this in the near future. Just stand by and hold on to your diapers.
Just hold on to it a little bit longer, guys, because there's a lot of good stuff coming on that front. But Kicker, part of this reorganization and next phase here is we're supposed to be keeping to a tight 45 minutes. So I'm going to push forward into our new segment, which is Signal Shorts, where one of the hosts gives the other host a question, and they've got 30 seconds to respond. Tonight's question is from me to Kicker, and that is in 30 seconds or less. Kicker, wait, let me get my timer started.
Wait, do I get to prep for this or some shit?
You can prep while I get a timer started on my phone, because that is the lowest tech way I can do to start a timer. Delete that one. 30 seconds. Ready? All right, your prompt.
Yeah.
What is your favorite event story? Ready, Kicker? Go.
Yeah. Is this Cherokee specific?
Your time's already started, but it's whatever.
Yeah, sure. Cherokee's favorite event story. Okay, I got it. Cherokee had a lot of awesome stuff that happened, a lot of awesome stuff. But I got to say, one of my favorite things was that everyone had to take a photo with the damn trophy. So we had this epic, full-size, beautifully painted, replica chainsword that was never actually at the registration desk because it was roaming around the entire hall the entire time. Hobby goblins were taking photos of it. Your boy JC,
3,
from DC.
2,
I mean, you had a whole crew of people taking photos with this thing. And I love that everyone was taking photos of this trophy. But I was also terrified because the trophy was extremely expensive. And I'm like, we need to give this to the best general. I hope to see it return here by the award ceremony, which luckily it did.
All right.
Seth, I'm sure you got a few photos with that trophy.
I did. And that was a perfect segue, Kicker. A little over the 30-second mark, but, it's your first week out on the short segment. So we'll keep trying with you. But speaking of, in terms of our event results, let me bring it back up here. Here you were talking about your beloved chainsword. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Look at that! Look at that handsome man and his beloved chainsword. Isn't he looking like he has a good time? Yeah. And then we had Joe there. Joe was War Games Live was there. There's the chainsword making its way over to Joe. But our overall winner, our best general, was Stephen Crawley, and there's him holding the chainsword. And what I would say is a unique pose. Most people went for the sword up in the air, or the sword over the shoulder. He was the only one that was like, "I'm going to stab you like it's a rapier." So he knew what's up.
We should, really say a little bit of a thank you because this sword was made just for us. This was made by Big Bear 3D out in Florida, and then beautifully painted by the Hobby Goblins team down in Florida as well. I mean, it was gorgeous.
It was very nice.
It was the most beautiful replica.
I know a lot of guys that do a lot of 3D printing, and I was showing them. They're like, they did a lot of sanding on this.
Yeah,
because they're like, it does not come out this good normally. So they did a lot of work to make that look the way they did.
And because everyone was taking photos with this, I was inspired. And after talking with Jacob there from the Hobby Goblins and a few other people, we're going to probably have an entire arsenal of replica weapons at our events in the near future.
Hey, that's my shtick.
Yeah, right. So that everyone can enjoy them, though. Yeah. So, and there's even already been requests from the Star Wars community for Star Wars, specific blasters and whatnot. So hopefully we'll have that at Frontline Gaming events, a nice arsenal of toys you get to run around the hall with. So yeah.
There we go. So speaking of Steven was the 40K best general. He took first place with his Deathwing. Second place was Brad Chester, bringing Space Wolves kind of out of nowhere. And our third place was John Lennon running Iron Hands. Hopping on down to our...
Can we do a little shout out for fourth place? Do you know who fourth place was?
Who was fourth place?
I believe it was the guy Gabriel running.
Gabriel Rochelle running Rochelle. I probably mispronounced your name, Gabe. Yeah. Don't yell at me. But he was running triple Dorn tanks. We talked about him actually in the preview show. Yeah.
So cool.
Yep.
So cool.
Best painted. That ended up first place with the Jacob there. We've seen his army a few times before. It's beautiful. Second place was Jason Langer. And third place was Eric Mullins with this beautiful Chaos Knights army. Did you get a chance to see it when you were in the hall, Kicker?
Oh, my gosh. Gorgeous stuff, man. And both Jacob and Eric are of the same team.
Yeah.
The guys from Florida.
All the Hobby Goblins. And then we had our overall awards, our Paragon of the Hobby. The first place was Wallace O'Donnell. Second place was Nathaniel Williams. And our third place was one of my opponents, Noah Bedome. And that's Noah's Knight Army, which also looks fan-freaking-tastic. Noah actually, do you know how far Noah came to get here, Kicker?
Oh, I know exactly how far he came, man.
Yeah,
he came from Washington.
Yeah, like he had to fly with this, like not trying to throw shade, but like, Eric and the Hobby Goblins, they, got in a car and drove up. Like, no one put that on a plane and flew, and it still got here looking that good. So great job, man. It was a great game. You definitely earned that third place spot in the Paragon. We also had some super factions. Stephen Crawley won Best Imperium, Wallace taking Best Chaos, and then do you remember, Kicker, when I said that there was a crazy man taking 3 obelisks and 3 monoliths?
Yeah.
That would be my friend Walter Langendorf, and he took Best Xenos with that list. He made it all the way to the quarterfinals running that nonsense.
Insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
So super proud of him.
Nick, did you see that list by any chance, Nick? Because that list was interesting to say the least.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I don't know where things go, and if you ask me what the rules for a monolith are, I don't think I've seen one in 9th edition.
That was the best part. Was like we were trying to do commentary during the quarterfinals, and we were all like, "What the hell does that list even do?" None of us even knew. It was quite entertaining. So anyway, moving on to AOS, their best general was Dale Irvin. Their second place was Matt Sweeney. Third place was Jonathan Roberts. But what's the best part about AOS, Kicker?
The beautiful armies,
right? The beautiful armies,
miniatures.
Correct. So up next, our number 1 painted was Daniel Gershwin. And this is Daniel's Gloomspite Gitz army, which just looks fantastic. I think he's even got LEDs up in that little Bad Moon altar, which is fantastic. Second place was Matt Sweeney. And their third place was this army by Josh Edwards. Just a lot of those big beefy ogres. Lots of earth tones here, Kicker. I think you'd feel really at home with this army.
I very much appreciate the good earth tones there. Thank you, sir.
So, and then their best order was Michael Schmelgrimich. Michael, man, I'm real sorry about that one. Best Destruction was Calvin Rary. I'm trying, guys. Best Chaos was Zach. Best Death was Chris Kreiner. And then their Paragons, which, again, is our overall. Number 1, Mary Darnell. Number 2, Michelle Anderson. And number 3, Eric Urbas. And that is kind of all your major placings for AOS and 40K. Kicker, how was your experience at Cherokee?
The event is awesome. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's a reason this event has grown 35% from last year, right? Because everyone that went the first year had an amazing time, and this year everyone else had an amazing time. The venue was great. The vibe of Cherokee is not like as intense or cutthroat as some of the other events. It's such a relaxed, cool vibe. I mean, it's just a good time. Plenty of space. I love that. But what really made me excited, though, was what you just said, Seth, about the Paragon winners for Age of Sigmar. Did you notice that both the first and second Paragon winner are 2 females? We had more women at this event than we normally have, which is like, I'm like, hell yes, let's do it. And they're kicking ass, right? Like both Mary and Michelle came in first and second place for Age of Sigmar Paragon. So that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that's really damn cool.
Yeah. Also, and I'm going to let Nick talk about this a little bit more because he was actually playing that, but the 40K narrative at Cherokee was just insane. I'm going to let Nick take it away on that. Nick, what was your thoughts on that Cherokee narrative?
Oh, the narrative was a lot of fun. So just for set the ground level for everybody, right? There's the 40K GT Friday and Saturday. And then if you want to hang around on Sunday, like myself and some others were doing, there's some RTTs that you can play on the Sunday, but then there's the narrative. And I think there were 14 of us for the narrative. And the way that it was set up was we started off with some crusade missions, so 500 and then 1,000 point crusade missions, just one-on-one, pretty simple stuff. But then based on and we were splitting to 2 teams. So it's essentially Imperium and Imperium sympathizers and
Imperium
Chaos and
sympathizers?
Chaos sympathizers. Yes, well, because what do you do with the Xenos races? So there were
they crump everyone.
Tau and Harlequins. Yeah, the Tau and Harlequins went with the quote unquote good guys, and then things like Orcs went with the Chaos side. Really, the Chaos side was just what armies want to do a bunch of melee fighting. And Seth,
so
what do you think about that?
you know what? Let's go with AOS terms: destruction and order.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Okay, I like that. So the way
we're stealing your term, AOS.
So it was, and Kicker, I believe it was Brian, right? Was the TO for
Brian Green?
Had 3 tables that were lined up in a row, and at one end there were these Imperial batteries and tunnel systems. On the other end, was all this chaos terrain, and on the chaos side, we had a Warhound Titan. It was two armies running up at each other, so myself with the Chaos Demons and another player who was running Orcs with Estampa, and Seth, he had a Morkanaut. I will add that if you've seen a certain Jim Carrey movie, Dumb and Dumber, his Gorkanaut and Morkanaut were painted like in the blue and orange suits. Absolutely amazing. So we had this great game. The Imperium did win in the end, but for anybody who's hanging around at Cherokee in future years or for any of the other events, the narrative was just a really great way to lay it back, enjoy some great games, some great opponents. There were a couple guys in the narrative where it was legitimately their first tournament. So they were a little afraid of the competitive stuff, but I think we showed them a really good time. They had a really good time. Everybody, it was a great way to end the event.
Awesome.
Sweet. And we do, we did narrative at SoCal, we did narrative at LVO, both those events sold out. Cherokee's narrative, was pretty successful in terms of attendance. We're trying to roll out the narrative at more and more events so that you have that option on Sunday, not just the RTT. But we also had a narrative ending, and that, I guess, is not what I'm talking about, just the tournament, the narrative, I guess, event, but we had the narrative ending for the 40K champs, right? We had this really cool story that happened. You had Brad Chester, a very known personality within the 40K realm, and then you had Steven from basically the region. He plays a lot of 40K. He's obviously very good, but he's not as established, I guess, in the community as Brad, and he's relatively local to the region. He's from Tennessee, and these guys were in the finals. So you have kind of, the local guy taking on the guy traveling in, and also Steven's playing Dark Angels, and Brad's playing Space Wolves.
Yeah,
that was better two armies to go head to head, right?
Orcs and anyone?
Orcs. Oh, shut up! Come on! Space Wolves, Dark Angels going head to head. This is
that was and yeah. I mean, it was a hell of a matchup. I'm actually kind of glad. No, I don't want to say I didn't want Brad to win, but I was really wanting Steven to kind of get his moment because I play here in the Southeast too, and I've run into Steven at a lot of events, so I was excited to see him make that kind of deep run. So I was kind of pulling for him for that. More for him, not the Army. I kind of hate the Army. That's a different story. We'll talk about that in the next segment.
Well, Seth, what was your highlights from Cherokee?
Oh, it was Cherokee for me. There's a great community here in the Southeast, and Cherokee. We talked about it before. Cherokee's kind of an event more meant for people to drive in than fly. It's not necessarily the easiest event to get to using an airport, but it draws heavily on the Southeast community. So I got to see tons of friends that I see throughout the year at events. So it was great just to get in to hang out with all of them. My wife loves this venue, this resort, so she comes every year and has a blast.
There was a lot of wives there, wasn't there?
There was. And so it was great to kind of be able to go to an event with my wife. She had a great time. She got to go do the spa during the day or go out and visit Asheville during the day. And then at night I got to have dinner with my wife and hang out with her and my friends. So that was cool. I enjoyed seeing everyone. Let's get to the biggest and the best section. I said I'm going for best orcs. I only went 4-2 with my orcs. I lost 2 games. One was to Noah with his knights. Turns out when you bring an OBSEC spam list and then your opponent is like, my knights all get OBSEC when I become honored, and then he becomes honored in turn like 2 or 3, your game plan has problems. So, but great job for him to take that matchup because Knights are definitely not in the best spot. And then I lost to a Necron player. I just made some kind of big mistakes early in that game, and it quickly got out of hand for me. But I definitely learned something from those games. There's definitely things I could have done to play those games differently and maybe given myself a better chance. Importantly, I also got to play against Gene Stealer Cult twice, which is the first 2 times I've played against Gene Stealer Cult in person in 9th edition, which is good because they're a better army. I got to play against a Deathwing list, not the Deathwing list, and it was a slog getting through all those Terminators, which kind of brings me into what I'm concerned about with that Dark Angels list, because Steven's list was 40 Terminators, all sporting Storm Shields, and that gives me the heebie-jeebies. That is a lot of 4-up invuln save, 1-up armor guys. That's hard for my armor to deal with, so it definitely gave me some things to think about and how to improve. And now, Kicker, you sort of set me up for something last week. You said,
Yeah.
are there any other orc players that you're concerned about? And I said,
Yeah.
nah. And then I had to eat my words for my beloved friend Marcus. Mark ended up going 5-1, and I believe he finished his final ranking was 10th overall in the event. So Marcus did take the best orcs, and he came up to me afterwards, and he was like, you know, they asked you if you were worried about anyone, and I'm playing orcs. I've been playing. You didn't say anything, and I was like, sorry. And so I have to eat my words and give him props here. So I am a man of my word. Congratulations, Marcus, for taking best orcs. But I'm coming for you. This is just the first battle in a long war, son, and I ain't done yet.
I believe in you, Seth. I believe in you, man.
So I think that's about it for our Cherokee wrap up. We're trying to keep to this 45-minute schedule, so we're getting close to it. I'm trying to keep an eye on chat, which I haven't been doing great. Do you think I got enough data? Kelsey asks. I think this one event wasn't enough data as a whole. I think I've got like 12 games with that list as a whole. But I'm hoping that now with all of those games across this event and an RTT and a bunch of practice games, I can bring all that data to my meeting with Steven this week. And we can have our coaching session, which if everything goes well and I can bless the technology gods, I shall be bringing you folks a segment from that session next week so that we can take a look at that. So, I'm trying to figure this stuff out as I go. So let's hope it works. But so that's that for me. Final thoughts from the night for Kicker and Nick.
Well, Nick, take it away, man. Final thoughts. First time being part of Signals. How do you feel?
Hey, it was great. Looking forward to a lot more great episodes, and as you both explained, there's going to be a lot of new updates coming along the way, so excited to join it. While I'm here, I'll add one other item about Cherokee.
Yeah.
I was a part of a group, and actually, Seth, it's some guys that you know, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, right? Up in the Maryland, D.C. area.
Actually, I was one of the founding members of that club.
Oh,
there you go. So Ben Millark, he kind of organized this whole group thing. We had a bus of 13 of us driving down for the event, and let me tell you, we had fun playing the games and enjoying each other's company at night at the restaurants and all the places at the Cherokee Hotel. But for anyone who wants to travel for events, let me tell you, that bus ride we had was perhaps just as fun as the event itself. It was an event. Really appreciate those guys, and I would encourage more folks to look at, hey, making a trip.
Party busting into an event. They actually, 8 of them got together and did their own RTT pod on Sunday and I quote after talking to JC for title of Bus Daddy on the way back. Which I think came with some sort of special seating in the bus. They played an RTT to see who got the comfy seats on the drive back.
Yeah, no, Nick's got a great point though, man. Traveling to these events with your boys, with your buddies, with your team, with your the people you normally just roll dice with at your local store, but all traveling together makes it such a cool experience. And I think that's what makes Cherokee so special, is because you kind of have to drive there. It's a little bit of a road trip. You're going to go with some friends, and that makes that event that much more special because you have those memories being made. Oh, well, Nick, that sounds epic. Oh, I'm seeing in chat people are disappointed at me. Nick, critical question.
Oh God! Wait,
requirement here.
Yeah, we talked about this.
What is your favorite breakfast cereal? We didn't ask. I probably should have asked that at the top of the episode. But we need to know. The world needs to know. And please don't say granola or bacon.
No, granola is fine if you're out like on a hike in the woods, Kicker. Which you know it's great for that. But I got a 2-part answer for you.
All right,
standard answer: Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
It's a classic. Always works well. You get
Leaves good milk residue. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
But perhaps a controversial answer, and I want to see if this passes the test, Kicker. Take a donut, a standard yeast donut, either cherry or strawberry frosting, and then fruity pebbles on it as a topping. Does that a fruity pebbles donut? Does that count as an acceptable answer?
So your median, your delivery.
Yeah, I think we're really starting to. Yeah, we're really starting to stretch the definition of milk there when we use a donut.
I mean.
Well, that's true. I guess it does need to have it, right?
I know. I think it's okay. I'll allow it. I mean, that sounds amazing.
Well, in response to Kicker's question, I have my question that I have agreed to ask every guest now, which is, what is your favorite baked potato topping? Oh, you weren't ready for that one.
Just one? Just one?
Yeah, whatever. It could be an agglomeration of toppings, But if your favorite baked potato format.
sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives.
He's a classics man. Classics. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals on the Frontline. But stay tuned because we do have a special message from the Sir Val himself. But until next week, good night, everyone, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Good night, guys.
Val Heffelfinger here. You know, there's a long tradition of disgraced, frustrated, put out 40K players announcing changes in their trajectory via messages recorded in their cars. A lot of times they're parked, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to just do this while driving in traffic. It's okay. There's a lot of technology going on over here. Pretty sure my car mostly drives itself, but that's fine. The great golfer Sam Snead might have said, when asked, hey, how can I get better at golf? I believe his response was, take 2 weeks off, then quit. And that's always resonated with me. And therefore, about 2 weeks ago, I sort of took a break from my work with the FLGN. And today, I am triumphantly announcing that I'm stepping down as the creative director of the FLGN. One might even say retiring, as many amateur Warhammer players often phrase, no longer playing 40K. Yes, it is the end of me and the FLGN, as has been either directly said or reported. I will be departing the FLGN and striking it off on our own with the Grim After Dark fellas, John and Danny, myself, Dickie will be setting it up as an independent thing. So if you want, you can subscribe and get into all the things that can get you to follow us there. That's Grim After Dark on your YouTubes and your podcast feeds. It's going to be pretty cool. That all being said, if I just take a moment, kind of realize that, like, for a very long time now, I've been doing FLG related podcasts. I started doing podcasting more or less on Chapter Tactics many years ago, and then sort of weaseled my way into a bunch of shows from there. A little over 2 years ago, it seemed as though, you know, Frontline could use a little bit of help putting some life into the various shows and feeds, and I, at the same time, was very excited about the concept of doing tournament coverage, of live event coverage, which, for the moment, seemed like a good opportunity to improve things and innovate and do fun stuff. And then a lot of shit happened, like pandemic and such. But in the intervening years, I did get to cover live on location. I had the privilege of covering the first series of U.S. Open events, as far as like streaming them is concerned. The privilege of doing a wide number of Frontline gaming events, which are always some of the biggest ones week to week. You know, the privilege of working with some of the, I think, best podcasting talent in 40K, whether or not we got them in front of a big enough audience. I think they're amazing. Your Seth, Kicker, the Thursday show, Adam, Dustin, Paul Murphy, I think. And then, of course, Grim After Dark. Yeah, it's been really awesome. And I think, based on where I am in life, I think it's time for me to maybe make room for some others. I think Kicker and Seth have some pretty big ambitions for what they can do with the FLGN. I think John and Danny and Dickie and myself are pretty excited to grow the content of Grim After Dark and hopefully the viewership as well, independently. And then maybe as part of something bigger too. We'll see. That could be useful to, you know, attracting audiences. But I think fundamentally what's important to realize is that my time here at FLG has been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. I wouldn't be as into Warhammer and doing this tournament stuff with 40K if it weren't for, quite literally, Reese and Frankie and their enthusiasm and their turning me on to the majesty of what is competitive 40K and going to tournaments and the, quote, community, which very rapidly becomes your favorite thing about Warhammer the second you start to engage with it. So it's amazing to be able to speak to the quote community, to participate at the levels that I have, to have made the friends around the world that I have. All of those things have been absolutely wonderful. And it's also been wonderful to get to work with Reese and Frankie and Frontline Gaming and the whole team there on the project that was the FLGN. And I think there's still room that it can grow, but it ain't going to be me, babe. And I'm hanging them up for the FLGN anyway. I am far too fond of my own voice to stop talking into microphones. So you'll be able to find me on Grim After Dark in my retirement years. You'll be able to see me Thursdays talking about Warhammer Fantasy on the Honest Wargamer live in the mornings. And then subsequently, whenever Rob gets around to posting it on the Honest Wargamer streams and his podcast feed. So that's me, everybody. I want to thank you very much for your time, your love, your adoration, your flowers, and your laurels. And I wish everyone the best of luck, happiness, and joy in wargaming in the future. All the best from your boy Val. I love you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.